All right, for language or for reading today, you are going to need your reading composition notebook. You are going to need a scissors, a glue stick, and you are also going to need this packet that you were given on Tuesday, or if you are in person today, you will be given this today. So this is going to be the first mini unit in our reading class. We're just going to take a look at each or a couple different types of figurative language that we will be finding lots and lots of times throughout all of the books that we will be reading in reading this year. So this packet is going to have your foldables or your notes for this unit. So each page that is in this packet is put together in order that we will be using them. Today we are going to be using the page that has figurative language up on top. We are going to be using the next page that has simile and metaphor. And then we are going to be using simile and metaphor practice. Okay. Then we have a paragraph with a ladder next to it. We are going to be using that as well. And this next page. Okay, so this will be over the next 2 days. But right now we're just going to set up these 5 pages in our composition notebooks so that we can get started for the next 2 days. Okay, once you get to the alliteration page in your packet, we will do that next week. You can stop there. So you can actually rip off these first 5 pages in your composition notebook or out of the packet. Okay, now each one of these pages, luckily, in the packet, you're going to be doing the same cutting and the same gluing for them. You are just going to be cutting them out all the way around the outside here, and we're just going to glue the whole thing down onto each page. Okay, so glue the whole back down, stick it on. So when you have them all cut out, if you want to pause this video right now to cut them out, you can. But I will show you what they should look like when you have them all cut out and done so that you know exactly what to cut out. First page should look like this when it's all cut out. Just the whole thing, all the way around the outside, and then we will glue the whole thing down, and I will show you what order we are going to be gluing them in. Okay, that's the first page. Second page we're going to work on today or get set up today for the next 2 days. Looks like this. Now you can choose if you want to cut around the thick line. You may do that. I just quicker cut around the outside of that. Doesn't matter to me. Whatever fits on your page, whatever you prefer. Okay, so then we have those two. We have this one that I cut out all the way around the outside. I will glue the whole thing down. We have our ladder paragraph, which is practice for us. And then we have Albert Einstein. And this is the last page we're going to set up today. So once you get to Albert Einstein here, pause. If you see the alliteration page, we will be doing that a different day. Okay, so I will pause, or I'll have you pause the video now so you can cut out your 5 pages, and then I will show them or show you how to be gluing them in shortly here. All right, now in your composition notebook, you are going to flip open to the next available page, whether that is the front side of a page or the back side of a page. So our first page is going to be the figurative language, which is that top sheet in the packet that we cut out. I'm going to write figurative language as my title, because every page needs a title in this book. And I'm going to look at what page number mine is on. This page is page 14 for me. So I'm going to flip open to my table of contents. And on page 14, I'm going to write in figurative language. Okay, now we can start gluing. So I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm going to just glue the whole back side of this figurative language page, this one, and that's going to go on this page. Glue the whole thing down, snip it down. and it's done. So that's what the page should look like when it is all done. All right, the next page, whether that's the front of the next page or the back side of this page you just glued your figurative language on, you are going to be writing similes and metaphors. Okay, so now that's on page 15 for me. I'm not sure what page number that is for you, but I'm going to turn to my next page in my table of contents and write similes and metaphors. All right, now that page is just going to have this on it. So I'm going to glue the whole back side down. Get it glued in, and we're all set. Okay, so it should look like this when you're all said and done. All right, next page is the back side of this for me. So my title is going to be Simile and Metaphor Practice. That's on page 16 for me. So I'm going to flip to my table of contents. Right. Simile and Metaphor Practice. All right, so far we have 3 pages done. Figurative language, similes and metaphors, and I'm about to glue my third notes page on, simile and metaphor practice. So flip open the page just titled. This says simile and metaphor practice up on top. That is going to go on this page here. Glue the whole thing down. Luckily we don't have any folding or whatever going on with these notes and these foldables. They're pretty easy. And that page is done. Now, the next 2 pages have those paragraphs. The first one is the ladder, and the second one is Albert Einstein. These are actually going to have the same title as the page we just completed. So I'm going to write simile and metaphor practice again on this page, and actually the next page as well. All right, so flip to my table of contents, and you have a couple options. Because I have multiple pages in a row that are going to have the same title, a couple things you can do. If you are one that wants to have something written down for each page, if you want to rewrite it again 2 more times, you're more than welcome to. Just like we did, or I did up here with the table of contents, I drew an arrow down. You have that option as well. So you would draw it down to the 2 more lines below, simile metaphor practice. Another way you can do it, and it might be better if we only have 2 pages of the same title, not 3, is to do little quotation marks underneath this title. Okay, so I will get into that when we do have 2 pages in a row that are similar. Right now, I think I'm just going to draw an arrow down to show that this has 3 pages titled that same. Okay, all right, so now let's glue those 2 paragraphs in. Now I'm going to put the ladder one first. So the ladder is going to go first, and then Albert Einstein will go second. Glue that in. Okay, then last page I'm going to glue in today is my Albert Einstein one. so I can glue. Dropping everything. Sorry about that. All right, so these are going to help us with taking our notes on these, and they're going to be pretty easy because all we have to do is fill in the blanks on these pages. Okay, so here's what your table of contents should look like for these pages here. We filled in 5 pages today. Your first page, mine is on page 14, but it's the page right after Common Themes in Books. So find where that page is in your composition notebook. The next page should be figurative language. And remember, we use the fronts and the backs of every sheet in this notebook. So we want to make sure that we're not skipping pages because we'll need every page we can get out of these. So our first page we did today was figurative language. Second page said similes and metaphors. And then the next 3 pages have the same title, simile and metaphor practice. If you wanted to write that again on the line underneath and then the second line underneath, you could have. I just drew an arrow to show that those were the same titles for those 3 pages. Totally up to you. So now I'll show you what the order should look like in the notes pages. First page that we cut out and glued today, I'll zoom out as far as I can here. Looks like this. Figurative language is the first page. Okay, it goes down how to understand figurative language at the bottom. Second page, similes and metaphors, and it shows the notes for both. Third page is the notes for simile and metaphor practice. Okay, then the fourth page is your simile and metaphor practice as well, with the latter paragraph on there. And then your last page we did today, simile and metaphor practice again, but with the Albert Einstein picture on there. Okay, go back and rewatch this video if you need to take a double look at the order of these pages, but they should be in this order and no other order. Okay, let me know if you have any questions.